Hello and welcome to my website. I'm Dr. Doug, your host. This is BodyTrust 6. Today we're going to talk about how lean do we really want to get? And be sure to visit my website, by the way, at drkind.com. Sign up for my monthly newsletter. And all my previous videos and podcasts can be located there on the videos page. And you can sign up for private sessions with me. I will help you get lean, clean, and calm. Get rid of the worrying and the hurrying and the overeating that is making you sick, tired, and fat. So let's get on with the classroom today. What is lean? Well, first of all, lean is not skinny. Okay. Skinny connotates weak. Do we want to be skinny and weak, or do we want to be lean and strong? Also, lean is not thin. Thin is weak. Do we want to be thin and weak, or do we want to be lean and strong? Words are very important. The language that we use puts us on a certain path. So let's get lean and let's get strong. So how lean do we want to get? Well, there's such a thing called the optimal lean zone. I call it the OLZ. It's a measurement of body fat percentage. I really don't like numbers on a scale. How much do you weigh? Body mass index is very, very approximate. These are so approximate. But the amount of non-lean tissue that you have in your body is measured by body fat percentage. For men, optimal lean zone for humans, talking about, is somewhere between 3 and 7% body fat. For women, it's higher. Anywhere from 7 to 13% body fat is optimal. And the numbers vary. These are very approximate numbers. It varies between individuals as well. I myself am 9%. I'm not 7%. I'm not in that optimal lean zone. But I'm pretty healthy. I'm as close to that zone as I really want to be, or really need to be. Animals that exist in that optimal lean zone are animals like gazelles, who need to run immediately, so they need to be very lean. Cheetahs, who run after them, they need to be lean so they can catch gazelles. And birds, flight birds, because they need to be able to fly, so they have to be very lean. Humans don't really need to be lean, because you know what happens when we get lean. We get mean, so to speak. That is, we are totally primed to go out into the wilderness and work hard to bring back food, because the body tells us through the hunger mechanism that we have no reserves, and you got to get out there and get some food, and do it now, Buster. It's interesting that when you actually do, when you are hungry and you actually do get working, the hunger tends to subside, because the body says, well, okay, I'll leave you alone for a little while you're working. But the minute you stop, I'm going to come right back and nag you. And that's what keeps us alive, is hunger. Now, the optimal lean zone is, well, when you are in the optimal lean zone, your senses are strong, your feelings are strong, your thinking is strong, and your energy is high. But for women in the optimal lean zone, they lose their periods. It's called menopause. It's called amenorrhea. Amenorrhea is not necessarily a symptom of anything wrong. It's just the body saying, well, Since there's not a whole lot of extra food around, I'm going to just save that blood and all that energy for times when there is extra food around to feed babies. Feed a fetus and feed babies. So it is, you might say, nature's natural birth control. You don't have to be there. You don't have to be in the optimal lean zone to be very, very healthy. And that's why I stay at 9%. Now, what is starving? Starving is below the optimal lean zone. That's when the body does not have enough yin. Remember, yin is material. When the body does not have enough yin to survive and thrive, that's starving. People all over the world starve. But in my personal experience, the only people that ever starve are people who are near death in the hospital because they can't digest food. And anorexics who are starving for psychological reasons. Let us not equate starving with fasting, which is very common. Also, let us not equate starving with hunger. Hunger is not starving. Oh, he skipped lunch, he's starving himself. You hear this all the time. Don't starve yourself. Well, in my country, it's very hard to starve yourself because food is everywhere and we're all fat. Fat people don't starve. We fast. Everybody fasts, by the way. Fasting just means you're not eating. How long do you want to fast? I do not recommend fasting long fasts. I do not recommend it because, as I said before, you can only be good for so long and then you're going to be bad. That's the way we are. So fasting, long fasts, take a lot of willpower. But if you listen to your body and trust your body, and your body says, oh, I'm not hungry. That's not willpower. That's trust. You see the difference? Trust is not willpower. Willpower is dieting. Dieting doesn't work. Oh, it works in the short run. Oh, yeah. There's lots of people out there that can get you lean. But staying lean, see, if you used willpower to get lean, it's probably not going to work. Only 5% of dieters actually keep that weight off a year later. I don't recommend it. But starving, the first thing that happens in starving is that the immune system is weakened because all that chi, we call it wei chi, all that wei chi, that protective energy, goes inside to defend the organs and leaves the exterior vulnerable to invasion of exterior pathogens, virus and bacteria and whatnot. So people get sick, they get colds and flu and weak and they can't move. That's starving. And they're very, very skinny. Skinny, and I mean skinny and weak. So let's get it out of our heads that we're starving ourselves if we don't eat breakfast or don't eat all day. We're not starving yourself. Yeah, in fact, starvation is an emergency situation that requires emergency intervention. Now, in the old days in China, we had tonic herbs. Tonic herbs are to help people who are starving because people starved to death. They didn't have food. Nowadays, we have emergency medicine come to the rescue. So it's better left in their hands. We don't need tonics in the United States. That's just hype. It's a lot of hype. Very interesting now. The further away from the optimal lean zone that you go, the weaker your hunger. So obese people are never hungry. Obese people, diabetes too, I know, I'm bet $100. They never have that empty feeling in the stomach area. They might feel something in the stomach area, but it's not that empty feeling that tells them to go out and get food because their bodies don't need food. Okay? The same thing happens below the optimal lean zone. You would think their hunger would get so great, oh my God, it would overpower them. No, it actually gets weaker. because as their energy gets weaker, their ability to process food gets weaker. That's why you can't serve big meal to a person who's actually starving. It will kill them. It will sit there in the gut and cause huge stagnation, and will not be processed. They have to be fed with chicken soup or broth, things like that. I've talked to a lot of people, a lot of ex-anorexics. That's how I know this, is that the hunger weakens. The further away from the optimal lean zone you get. Yeah. So, starvation is not hunger, and we need to make friends with hunger. That's just the lowdown, my friends. You're going to have to make friends with hunger if you want to be healthy, because it's a healthy feeling. It prolongs life, and you know, we've known that lean and hungry lab animals live longer than fattened lab animals. So like for 80 years, scientists have known this, and they've been saving money by minimally feeding their laboratory animals. It extends their life and their health. Same thing will happen to you and me. In this rich fat culture that we live in, the less food you eat, the healthier you will be and the longer you will live. So we're going to be talking a lot about this kind of thing. How to back off food, how to move food off center stage over to the sidelines, where it belongs. It cannot be your principal access to dopamine. Bing! We've got to find easier, healthier ways of promoting that yin hot. Well, that's all for now. Stay tuned for wellness in the news. Welcome back, everybody. Glad to be with you here for the latest segment of Wellness in the News. My first article is about a next generation of therapeutic means helps immune cells detect and destroy cancer. This is from Science Daily. So here is a picture for my listeners. I will describe it. It is a picture of a macrophage killing and eating a cancer cell. The macrophage is in yellow, the cancer cell is in red. This is a photograph from a microscope. It is photographic proof that the immune system, the body, knows how to kill cancer. It must be caught early, and it must be allowed to get there. So your circulation has to be good. You have to be fairly lean and calm for this to happen. But here it is. There's the proof. Well, emergency medicine is on the trail. Hey, and they are finding all kinds of ways to encourage your body to do its job, to kill cancer cells. Well, this is good news. Yay! Hooray for emergency medicine. We love them. Next article. Women who smoke go through menopause sooner. Let me explain this. Smoking introduces heat, this hot gas, into your body. That hot gas is yang. It creates a heat condition. Heat creates speed. Heat and speed go together, don't they? Cold and slow go together. Well, yin. Heat and speed are yang. Well, it speeds up metabolism, speeds up development, speeds up onset of the cessation of the menstrual period. But this is how Chinese medicine would explain smoking habit, how that precipitates early onset of menopause. I will also add that hurrying and worrying, which also create heat, will end the menstrual cycle early. Not only that, but then you have all that menopausal heat afterwards. Menopausal heat. We're gonna devote a whole several minutes to that one of these episodes about women who suffer from menopausal heat, because in olden times, in rural communities, this is not common. But in our modern culture, it's extremely common, this menopausal heat. Women who have excess yang going into menopause will have a lot of excess yang when that yin drops. Because that's what happens in menopause. The yin drops. All right, estrogen drops. And what you have left is all this heat flaring. It's a terrible problem. We'll talk about that future point. Here's another article. Gut microbes and heart disease. Let me read this. It's really interesting. The gut microbiome is under increasing scrutiny in medical research, as it is known to affect many different aspects of our health, including our metabolism and autoimmune system. A lack of diversity or range of healthy bacteria in the gut is linked to various health problems, including diabetes, obesity, inflammatory stomach and bowel diseases, and now heart disease. This is also from Science Daily. Well, this is another reason why backing off of food allows your gut bacteria to rearrange themselves. It allows the body to go after pathogenic, disease-producing bacteria and get rid of them. That's why we say we need to be lean and clean. And the only way you can really be clean is by backing off the food and finding other ways of getting that dopamine high besides eating and fat cells. So there we have it. Here's our last article from Science Daily again. People who travel by car are 4 times more likely to be injured than people who travel by city bus. It's also safer for bicyclists and pedestrians. That is, buses are safer for everybody. Driving is really inherently unhealthy. I don't know if you realize that. It's constant competition for space, constant jockeying for position. That's not healthy. That drives up your yang, and we know that in modern culture we are made sick by this excess yang and this competitiveness. It's infected every aspect of our lives. The less driving you do, the healthier you're going to be. It allows you to relax, do other things. It's also very economically savvy. So, well, that's all the news that's fit to yell at you. Stay tuned for the next segment, the interview. Hi everybody, welcome to my show and the interview portion of it. I'm Dr. Doug. I have a really interesting guest today. Her name is Christie Goran. She's a friend of mine and a very special woman. I'm a healer, and I consider her a leader in the wellness revolution. I would call what she does, she is a spiritual space organizer. I know that sounds a little spacey, but it's hard to put your finger exactly on a name. So I think you'll find her very interesting, and I think you'll fall in love too. Anyway, here's Christie Goran. Hi, Christie.
Hi, Dad.
Christie, would you tell my audience a little bit about Uncluttered LA and what you do?
Well, what I do is help people to organize their lives, whether it be their businesses, their homes, in any way. I actually get in there and help them with the physical part of their lives, whether it be their closets, their kitchens, their garages, their place of business. I help them to unclutter it and feel more alive and focused on what's really important in their lives.
Well, that sounds really interesting, and I know that when you clear your spaces, you're making room for other good things to come in your life. So it's kind of a spiritual element to this, isn't it?
There always is, and I think when you focus on the bigger picture of life, you're always going to have an easier time with it. I think sometimes a lot of my clients are very focused on the stuff, the little things. Where am I going to put all my photo albums? Where am I going to put all these things? And they're spending their whole lives managing all of their things. And it's exhausting, and it makes them sick sometimes. So as I'm working with my clients, I see them have huge breakthroughs, whether it be in business or in love or in a move, anything. They almost always have a tremendous outcome. It's not just, oh, everything's labeled and looks pretty. It pretty much is never that. It is much deeper. And I think that the more we have connected to us, the harder it is. It's like we're trudging through life, holding on to things. The more we let go, the more we release those things, the clearer we are. And then you're free to really achieve anything you want.
Do you ever have clients that resist throwing out stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we're not always throwing things out. We try to donate, so we're not just throwing things in the trash.
Right.
But yeah, I think that everybody has a little bit of an issue of, well, what if I need it again? So a lot of times my questions to them are, well, who are we saving it for and why? And that question stumps many of my clients. I just thought I always needed to save my kids' baby teeth. So we have to look at those things and think, well, do your children, when they're older, really need to look at their baby teeth any longer? Maybe they do, that's okay, but if we question and look deeper, then we find out what are our reasons. And also, how are we preserving these things for our future? What do you need? So then when we look at why we're doing it, who we're saving it for, then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that. Send it away. You know, people tend to have book collections that just collect dust.
Yeah, what for?
And if they're not reading them, think of the other people that could be reading them.
Exactly.
That's always
Exactly.
exciting. Like,
Yes.
who else could be reading that book and becoming inspired? Being that I'm in this business, I read books on feng shui, I read books on energy, I read books on organizing. After I read them, I hand them off to my friends.
Good. I think that's brilliant.
Me too.
Brilliant. You've told me a couple times about you take piece by piece and go, do you need this? Do you need this? And people are sweating over a piece of paper or a toy or something. It can be traumatic. Clearing these spaces and getting organized, getting your lives organized, right? Have you had some really difficult clients that made breakthroughs?
All the time. I don't think they even realize how much their energy is tied around their things. And as we start going through it, sometimes the first wave of our work, there's can be even tears. You know, they've just been holding on to this energy for so long. And once they
do the same thing in their bodies. When you hold on to your stuff, you hold on to your chi, and that creates chi stagnation. This creates all kinds of medical problems.
Completely. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I've had many of my clients have health issues resolved. I've had clients that clear their whole space And within days, they've suddenly met someone that they ended up marrying. Because I think the more we're holding on to, the more resistant we are. And it connects everything with our bodies inside and out. And I'm looking at the whole client all the time. I'm asking them how they're feeling in their bodies, what's going on with them. Are there health issues? Are there money issues? Are there, who knows what kind of issues are going on? But as we're clearing, it reflects. I think anything that's going on in the body is being reflected out in our spaces. So
True.
So sometimes my clients are just clearing their space and they're not working on the inside. They can have some resistance, and then as that happens, magic just unfolds.
Yes, I believe you. I truly do. This is part of the minimalist movement. Wouldn't you say minimal stuff? It's kind of a worldwide thing.
It sure is. I think I'm seeing this especially with young people. I don't think this young generation is as attached to material things. I see the older generation being very worried about saving things. But yeah, the minimalist movement, which I follow and love, is about less is more.
Yeah, less is more.
Less is more. And when you're free to travel, when you're free to move around, explore. It's just life-giving.
Life-affirming, isn't it? Christie, you work in LA, isn't that right? Los Angeles?
I do, but I work actually anywhere my work will take me, but I reside in Los Angeles, and I've worked from the whole West Coast to the islands to...
And people can hire you.
They sure can.
And they can reach you through your website.
Yes, they can.
Would you tell me that your website, what that address is?
It is www.unclutteredla.com.
That's easy to remember.
It sure is.
Well, this has been a very wonderful time, Christie, and I'm glad that you shared this information with my audience. And thank you for being with me today.
You're very welcome. As always.
Hi everybody, Dr. Doug here, reminding you to subscribe to my show and be sure to share it with your friends. Click that little bell so that you will receive notification every time I post a new episode.